All right, all right, all right. Okay. This is I Bring It Every Day, and my name is Kelly. And I'm going to be making a little bit of plarn because I have 14,000 trillion plastic bags I need to get rid of. Okay. Oh, chatters. Laboratory, yes. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I'm in the lab, which is not really a lab, but I'm always experimenting with random stuff. So, sorry about the crinkles, but I'm making some plarn. So I'm taking a plastic bag. I'm going to try to hide the name, not hide, but so that there's no, you know. Anyway, so this is how you do it. You have to cut off on each of these plastic bags. There's a little tiny seam. It just reminded me. So anyway, I just want to also say shout out to Mob's Place and More for reminding me about Plarn. And I forget how we even talked about it or whatever. But anyway, what I'm going to do, and hopefully I'm in the shot. There we go. I'm going to cut off this little tiny seam. And I don't know if you can see that, but there's a seam at the bottom of the bag. You got to cut that off or else it's going to not work. Okay. So I'm going to do that right now, really quick. You flatten the bag out, you cut the little seam off. And then you also have to cut off the handles. And sorry about the crinkle. Little ASMR for the people who love that stuff. I don't. It's kind of funny. All right, so I'm cutting this off. I'm trying to save as much of the plastic as possible, but it's not that serious, but you just want to get rid of the seam. And this would probably be better with one of those roller situations that the sewers use, uh, the rotary cutter. But anyway, so that's that. So I got rid of the seam. I don't know if you can see that there, but there it is. Yep. Okay. Get rid of the seam, flatten it out, and I'm going to cut these handles off at the very end. But what you do is you fold it in half, fold it in half, and fold it in half. So, and you just kind of, you can either roll it like this, but the easiest way to make it even is to fold the thing in half. All right, I'm just going to turn that around here. Fold it in half. Then fold it in half again. Then just keep folding it in half. Okay. All right. So it should be more or less even. I mean, it's not a big deal if you don't get it there. Hey, Scott. And there's Pedro. Welcome in. All right. Grand Rising. And Shatika. Hello. Good to see you. All right. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off these handles. And you can actually use this to weave in for other stuff later. But the handles, unfortunately, throw the whole thing off. So you get rid of them. And see, you can actually make this into a little piece of plarn right there later on. It's a little short, but there it is. Okay. But I'm going to hang on to those because you know what? It comes in handy. All right. So let's go back here. I'm just going to make it as thin as possible. All right. So there it is. So then you just cut them. You just make the size, kind of even. I mean, you can sort of cut them in half and cut them in half. You can roll it and cut in half that way if you want to keep doing that. But the whole idea is to make them even as possible. And I'm doing them maybe 2.5 inches long, maybe a little shorter. I don't know, whatever this is. Okay. All right. And that's it. So now what happens is you open these up. This is a little bit fat, but that's okay. And you see you get these circles. Or, yeah, I guess they're circles. Yeah, you get these little circles. And what you do is, and I think you should get about 5 or 6. It's pretty long. It's nice. So one of the things that people make out of these for the homeless, and actually you can make this even for your yard if you want to do some of those little, they call them sit upon in here in eastern Pennsylvania, they call them sit upons, where you can make a little mat to sit on. And like a lot, in the daycares and stuff like that, you can, you need a crap load, and that's a scientific term. You need a crap ton of bags. But if you keep going, you can make these. But let's see. Oh, there's Katrina. Good morning. Hey. Good morning, sis. Kelly, I bring it. Hey. Nice to see you. And all in the chat. Love and hugs. Good to see you. How's the baby? Well, I saw the picture. I think the baby's birthday was the other day, which is exciting. All right. So now what you do with these. So now you got these big circles. There's a little thingy there. You just let me see if I can remember how to do this. You sort of take them one by you sort of line them up like this, so it's like end to end. Then you sort of you cross them over like that, and you cross it over like that, and you pull it nice and easy, and it should give a little knot. Hold on a second. So you should get a little knot, and you want to pull this knot really tight or reasonably tight. So now you got a big long piece. So you got two of them together. So this is how you make the yarn. So once again, you line it up. You do put the two little ends together like this. And you want to sort of crisscross them. And then you feed the other one into the other one. And it's sort of like when you do a slip knot. Let's see if I'm doing this right here. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Hang on. Yeah, so you crisscross, pull, and you just pull it into itself. Let me see. Did I do that right? Yes. Here we go. So now you want to pull this one into that one. Let me see if I did this right. Now my brain, it's early morning. Yeah, and you pull them together just like that. So you're basically making a knot. And you see now we got three. So look how long that sucker is. Pretty long. And this is a good way. And then see how there's a little opening here? If you just pull these two ends aside, you should be able to straighten that out. You see how that straightens out like that? And you just keep going until you're finished. Now what you can do, now my husband came up with a really good, and I don't have my little thing, but he took a little you can do like a milk jug or something that's kind of round and just store this in. You know, you can make balls out of this like yarn and then just keep going. So let me see if I can do this again here. Hang on a sec. Gotta move this needle out the way. I don't want to stab myself here. But one more time. Let's see if I can do this. It's a little early, but you crisscross them. You pull the one into the other one, just like that. Hold on. I don't want to pull it too tight, but you pull it loosely first till you get the position that where you want it. And you see that? And there's the knot. And you just keep going. And you see how nice it comes out. You know, it's pretty long. Do the last piece here. But you should get 5 or 6 if you're fortunate. 5 or 6 pieces out of that. Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to make one more, and then I'll show you what it looks like crocheted if you've not seen it before. Yep. So there it is. So please give a thumbs up so far. We're looking good. Yeah. Okay. But what's really nice is if you use different colored bags, and like, let's see, like that one this is gray. If like this is white. And somebody had blue and yellow bags. I forget where yellow is. I think it might be Dollar General. Very nice color. And you can color control all this stuff if you want or not. You know, that's really up to your, you know, whatever you want to do. But it definitely comes out really pretty when you color control. So I've seen people do that. Now this bag here is a little crooked. You see that right there? This is a little shorter on this end than that end. But once again, like I said, you can take off the handles last, but you try to just make it as flat as possible. And then, you know, like I said, you got to cut this little seam off on the bottom. And it's really, really very light to see, but there's a little seam like right there. All right, let me check the chat. Bill Beckett's here. Hello. Oh, she's doing really well. Yes. Okay, and Suzanne says plastic bags are scarce in New Jersey and other states that ban them. Right. Now, some of these I hate to say I've been sort of hoarding them, but I have a bag of bags that I said I'm going to try to get rid of. Now, I do donate some of these to the, now I know, I don't know if they still do it, but I remember back in the day, you know, Target would take these and some of the supermarkets by me take them. And what they do is they send them to the recycling plant and then they blah, blah, blah. They do all that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So some of these I've had a little while, and it's interesting because they banned the bags here, not banned, but they're banning the bags. And but what do those people do in the supermarket? They hand you a bag, And then before you know it, you've taken one. You're just like, oh crap, I have bags. So I've been, yeah, actually trying to recycle, or at least not take bags. And a lot of times when I go to like our Goodwill stopped taking bags, and who else are giving bags, and they start, everybody's selling those reusable bags. And unfortunately, I'm finding that I'm actually starting to collect those. So I'm just like, I don't think we're much better off. It's kind of weird. And then some of the people make the bags out of the plastic, is what I've heard. So there's the seam. I don't know if you can see that there. Yep, there's the seam. So you want to get rid of that. And how's everybody doing? It's Sunday. Woohoo! Yes. Bill Beckett's here. Wonderful. Good to see you guys. So anyway, so that's the plarn. I mean, that's really how you do it. I mean, it's not real deep, but I want to just say, Ashley actually I'll shout her out. She was talking about this yesterday, and I have a funny story about the plarn, but I'll have to tell you guys behind the scenes. I don't want to tell you on live because it's kind of fun. It's not funny. It's just interesting. But anyway, so there it is. And then, like I said, you want to clip off these handles. And like I said, you can always go and reuse the handles later. And because that messes the whole thing up, is the handles. So there they go there. But you can save this and actually make some plarn out of these guys. It'll be short. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, I guess the best way to do these would be to just make a knot. And like I said, all these scraps, you can put them to you can bring, put them to use, But that's kind of the same thing. You can just keep going, and you can actually crochet over this little thingy there. But yeah, see how long that is. Actually, I'm just going to show you these two handles. I'm just putting these together. Just the two handles. There's quite a bit of plastic here. I never really noticed. Interesting. Yep. And I'm just doing a regular old knot. Nothing fancy. I wish I knew how to do that Russian join thing. That would be cool. One day I'll learn that thing. That's on the bucket list. Yeah. But, like I said, there's different things you can do. And this is all because I'm sort of a hippie. I like to use anything to recycle or reuse, and so a lot of people, like, we do use these for trash. We have the little can in the bathroom, so we just use it for trash. But here, so these are the handles, and see, that's quite a bit there. This is just the two handles from the bag, and that's over a foot. That's at least a foot and a half of plarn. So you can actually use that. That's useful. All right, now. So last thing, I'll do this again. So like I said, you just want to just keep folding it and folding it and folding it, and make them as even. I mean, they don't have to be perfect, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. You just sort of find your way. But like I said, I cut the handle, cut the seam, and I'm just cutting these more or less even, just with scissors, or you can, rotary cutter is probably better. And I think you get 5 to 6. I mean, I could even make these a little bit thinner, but yeah. So there they are. Leonore reacts. Okay. And I saw somebody named Lillian. Hello. Welcome in. Sorry I missed you there. Lillian's here. Lillian Wilborn. Hey. And then, okay, Katrina's saying I have too many bags and baskets that I've bought. Right. Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. So you lose your mind. Like I said, I feel like even though they're doing well by the earth to try to reuse this stuff, I just feel like I have too many bags. And so I've donated my bags, believe it or not. How you doing, Lillian? Long time no see. Yes. So anyway, so like I said, you just crisscross, and then you just pull the one into the other. You can pick whatever. I'm right-handed, so I just sort of pull. You can pull right to left or left to right. It doesn't really matter. And then you want to make this knot as tightly as you can, because when you crochet over that, it's much easier. Yeah, when it's a little bit tighter. But yeah, there's two pieces there. Yes. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Hold on. I'm just gonna. Good morning. Yeah, happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah, hopefully, this will be a good. What is happening here? Okay, here we go. Right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll without mayhem. See, that's what happens when I scroll. All right. I'm going to go to the other screen. All right, we're going to keep going. I'm going to try not to touch my screen. Every time I scroll, it's never good, right? But it plays my little theme song. Okay, here we go. We're going to keep going. So pull the other one into the other one. Like I said, you just crisscross and pull a knot. And that's it. Then you just keep going. And I'll show you. I'm going to crochet just a few pieces. Oh, I forgot one of these from earlier. Just throw that in. But well, what's really nice with this is you just keep just keep adding the pieces. This is this one came out a little fatter. Yeah, actually, I might thin this one out. Came out a little too fat. I'm gonna make this one thinner because that's too fat. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm gonna cut it this way. Yep. Okay. There we go. So that one's a little bit better there. Then after a while, this thing just gets crazy long. It really does. And then you can ball it up into a ball, and I'll show you that. Let's see. Trying to get back to the chat. Just give me a second. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. But yeah, this one's pretty fat too. I'll just let this one go. All right. So there it is. So just crisscrossing and just pulling them together and making a knot. I don't know what kind of knot this is. I'm sure it has a name. Don't know. But anyway, there it is. So now what you can do is, I'm just going to roll this in a ball. And I'm just going to keep going. And I'll crochet a little bit of it here. All right, so here's the end. All right. Okay, hang on a second. Too many bags. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, so I'm going to use, now it's better to use a bigger hook. This is an M. No, this is N, as in Nancy. So it's got a pretty nice thing here. But, so what you do is, you do your slip knot. Let's see. Hopefully I got to make a longer end there. Make your slip knot. Then you can crochet, and the thing is, I would say I would probably, you can do your chains. So you just crochet the regular way. Now I would do it loosely for the first row. So there's a chain there. And I would just keep going. Just take your time and make the first row loose so you can see where your chains are. Because this is a little hard. And then, you just continue. Then you do whatever stitch you want to do. Single crochet, double crochet. I would probably do a single crochet if you want to make it really, really tight. But, yeah. And actually, I probably should do this with another. I'll do it with a shorter bag. That way you can see so I can go back. But anyway, then you just continue. And that's all you do. And you just make it into a ball and just keep it going. And then, and you can just continue. But you see the way this comes out. It's a little bit tight. And I will warn you, it is a little hard on the hands. So you got to give, try to do it. You don't have to pull it tight. But if you do it nice, you can reasonably tight. Okay, let me see if I can get back to the chat. Hang on just a second, because my chat stopped moving. Okay, hang on a sec. But there it is. And that's the plarn. So let me know if you think that was helpful. And like I said, if you have some of these bags, it's good to just get rid of them. You can donate them. And like I said, I know Walmart used to have a thing where you could put them in there. I don't know if they still do. Because I'm trying really hard not to shop. That's like the evil plan. But let me just see if I can get into my chat real quick. We'll just keep going. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. This is so awesome. And yeah, let me just turn down my volume. Hopefully this won't cause a situation. Let's see. Will it let me find my live? Okay. Let's see what happens. And then I can get back to the chat because I lost it. I cannot find the chat. Let's see. Nope. All right, let me try something else here. Hang on a sec. And now, has anybody made plarn? Let's see here if I can find my chat here. Yes. Let's see. Oh boy, yeah, we got a bunch of things going on here. Let's see. Hang on. Yes. Of course, I can't find my chat. All right, let's try this. Boy, we got a lot of. There's a lot of people on this morning. I see. Okay, hang on a second. I think I can find it. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can find everybody. Thank you so much for hanging in. So we got Nick Plarn, used to do Plarn for the homeless. Nice. And then I see King Killer. How was your day? Thank you. Very good. Thanks for asking. And let's see. Leonora's saying hi to everyone who comes in. Are those handles for baskets? Well, you could. Yeah, you could make them. You could make them for baskets. Like I said, you can make a basket. You can make all kinds of stuff with this. And this is what's really cool. Yeah, we'd make big blankets and mats. Yeah, and the mats are great because they do stay dry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is pretty cool. I love it. Yes. So anyway, but like I said, it's really easy and or simple. You know what I mean? Yes. Let's see. Please remember to hit the like buttons and share out. Thank you. And there's Miss Renee. How's it going? Yeah. So I'm making a little plarn, and I'm gonna be running the streets a little bit later. So I figure I'll do a little live streaming. So like I said, you get rid of the handles, and you can see, like I said, you can save these for later, and then you just want to cut this little seam off at the bottom, which I forgot to do. And there's the seam right there, which is pretty cool. But that's great. So you guys all donate to the homeless. That's pretty cool, Nick, I think. Yep. And they're surprisingly soft. Yeah, see, they're not bad, right? Yeah, and it's shocking because one of these ladies made them. Now the only, full disclosure, you do need a lot of bags to make a fairly big project. Like how many bags did you use, Nick? If you don't mind sharing. I think you need a ton. I really think you need a ton. And that's tragic. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Yeah, you just need a ton. Let me move to this one here. There we go. Maybe I'll come a little closer. Yep. But yeah, you can use these for anything, but you can make baskets. I'm not a basket weaver. I wish I could basket weave. But yeah, I mean, you could actually make a nice basket. And then I saw a lady make purses with these, which I thought was pretty cool. She did purses and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I just went, man, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? And like I said, you try to be somewhat even. And and like I said, this isn't a science. And the thing is, it really comes out nice when you have different colored bags, and it really comes out nice when you can color control for the bags, which I've never done before. But the lady that showed me how to do this used to do that all the time. And one day I'll have to show you this purse she made me. Yeah, see, and this bag is it was a little bit uneven, but that's okay. You can actually still work with this, even though, see how this part here is a little bit thicker? It was a little bit askew when they printed the bag, but that's okay. Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day. I love it. Thank you. Have a nice day. There we go. Have a nice day. Hold on. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yes. I love those kind of bags. So how are you doing, Miss Renee? It's Sunday. Doing your thing? Yeah, we have a storm coming. So once again, it's like it's been raining pretty heavily here every day. So I'm in Pennsylvania, and so it's kind of brutal. Let me see if this will work here. Yeah, I'll go back to this one here so you can see the whole table. But yeah, that's kind of this is the process. So it's pretty simple. And yeah, and the nice thing is, like I said, I saw somebody make a like a floor mat. It was, sleeping bag size. It was so big. And I said, man, that's impressive. But I know it took her a while, to make that. She had to, But so what I'll do is I'll crochet these and together so you can sort of get an idea if you haven't seen what it looks like. And hopefully that should work. It'll be a little shorter. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Of course. Let's see what I did with my hook. Ay, ay, ay. It's like you put something down. Never good. Let me see here. Try to. I have to grab my other hook. We'll do this one so I can find the other hook. But this is a pretty big sized hook as well. So you just hold them together. So you're going to do your slip knot like the band. Slip knot. Yes. Okay. And then, you can just do chains. So I'm just going to do some chains. Yeah. And, you want to do them a little bit big, little spaces. It's okay because you're going to go back into them and pull the, yeah. But you see, this is probably a little bit tight, but we'll just keep going. But yeah. Oops, hold on. Stay in there. Hold on. Made that one too big. Two. But it's better to use a Q hook, which is the big one. But I have it put away, but I figure, this will give you just some ideas. And yeah, there we go. But you see, and you see how you can get a nice tight stitch, which will keep water away, which is really nice. Now let me see what's going on here. Go back. My stream froze a little bit. See, we had to conquer. Let's see, we had a conveyor belt operation for plarn, where some of us were in charge of tying process, others were in charge of actually weaving. Nice. And there's Charlotte's here. Good morning, Kelly and everyone. And let's see, and the bags out here are thick. Do you have thick or thin? Ours are very thin, actually. And then let's see. Yeah, we make big blankets. I saw that. Everyone's saying good morning. And they're surprisingly soft. Yeah, so that's cool. But I think that's the way to go. Yeah, if you totally have a what's that called? My brain's not working. Yeah, the conveyor belt. Yeah, I like that. Sort of like a factory. Yep, that's a good way to do it. Yep. That is the answer. All right. I don't know what I just dropped my hook somewhere. I don't know. Oh well, I'll find it. But there it is. And let me see. I may have to pull out my other one. But yeah, you just keep going. Now you make your change. You can go back in and crochet. And now some people are really fast at this, and I'm being really deliberately slow here, just so you can sort of see. But it's pretty cool, And then yeah, you just make your chains, and it's easier. Like I said, if you make them bigger like that one. Yeah, I'll just go back and make it bigger. Let's see. Good morning, Mary King. Wow, good to see you. Charlotte, good morning, Charlotte. Yep, I think we got everybody. But that's kind of the way you go, and then you just go back in. And I'm just going to go back in this one just so you can see. But you see, you just go back in, and you can do single crochet, and then there we go. So there's a single crochet, and then you just go back in and just keep going. And it's good. And the thing is, like, I'm not going to pull this tight because I'm going to actually pull this back out again. I'm just going to keep making yarn. But as you keep going, it starts to look pretty good. You know what I mean? And yeah, there it is. Yep. So let's see here. I'm going to minimize. Oh, here we go. Let's go back up. Yep. Let me go back into the chat. Let me see. Oh, all right now. Yeah, that looks good. Yes. And let's see, by hook or by needle, Sam. Oh dear, my eyes are bad tonight. I thought the title said lavatory. Oh no. Oh, my goodness. Oh no, we're not in there. But like I said, so that's really it. And the thing is, you just keep going, and you just have all this. You just keep making more and more and more. So I'm just going and going and going. That is so funny. I love it. Yes. Let me minimize this one here. That is funny. That's funny. I love it. Let's see. Let's go back to the restream here. Yep. But anyway, I just want to make sure my shot's looking good. But yeah, you just keep going. And like I said, you just crisscross and you keep going. But this is good for kids. And this is what I was going to say. If you have any bags, I mean, see, like I said, most of the country, the smart people have sort of banned these, which is good. And then, you just keep going. But there it is. And you just keep going, keep going, keep going. But anybody recognize this bag? These are big bags. So, all right, there we go. So let me pull this out here. And the thing with the bigger the bag, the more you're going to get out of it. But thinner is easier, I will say, and if you have any, and right now I'm using, my scissors are not real sharp, but I think the sharper the better, is better for you. You just cut those out. But yeah, you just keep going and it's beautiful. But I do this, like I said, yeah, Ashley was challenging me to make some stuff. So I said, I have all these bags sort of sitting there and waiting. And I said, I'm going to try to get them done, get them out of here. Because, there's just too many. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get rid of this stuff. And I'm just going to keep, adding on and adding on and adding on. And that's it. Let's see here. That's nice. And like I said, these are the handles. And you can always just tie these. They're a little bit shorter, but if you tie a nice knot, you can get rid of these handles and just keep going, with those. Yep. Let me see if I can get this in here. But this is one way to get rid of this plastic. And it is useful, for the homeless shelters, because people do use I've seen these in major cities, people laying on these. I can't remember where I saw it. I want to say it was Washington, D.C. I think it was, which is crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of homeless people down there. Believe it or not. Yep. But anyway, yeah, these are the handles, so they keep going. Yep. And the handles just go on and on and on. There we go. All right. But, yep, you can get rid of these too. So you don't have to throw them away, which I think is the main thing. Yes. So, any big plans for the rest of the day? And does anybody here do paper stuff? If anybody's into, paper crafting. Let me see here. Let me know. And I just lost my page here. Hold on a sec. We go back here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this plarn is kind of fun. And I like it because, like I said, it's easy. And it's always fun for the people. Like I said, little munchkins can do this. So let's see. Katrina's saying, let's see. Oh dear, my eyes are bad. Oh, that's funny. Okay, there we go. I got you. Yeah, but that's cool. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know if anybody does paper crafting, but it's kind of cool. But I'll just do this last thing here. Any big plans, Renee? I know Renee's she's probably biking today, mountain biking, which is scary and fun at the same time. Yeah. There we go. All right, now. That looks good. Yeah, so there we go. The handles, and this is just the handles. That's a nice long piece. So I can add that in there. Let me see what else. Let me just pull this one tighter. But that's the whole thing with this. It's real simple. And, you want to make it as even as you can. And you just pull the one knot. And that's how you pull that piece out. And when you have these little bobbles here, you can always fix them. Pretty easy. But yeah, it's always good. But like I said, I think the conveyor belt is good. Or the factory, sort of the assembly line is good. And I think Nick's got it. That's the answer. But that's really nice. All right, so I got some handles there. Let me go back to this, and I'll keep cutting this. And then let's see, we've been on how long? Oh, 35 minutes. Oh my goodness. TikTok. Let's see. Oh, you do paper. Okay, so Renee. Oh, that's right. You don't have Ollie's near you. So Ollie's is doing a paper. They bought a bunch of Provo Craft, what used to be Provo Craft. I don't know what they call themselves now, but the people from Utah that do the paper and the cricket and all that stuff, they got a whole clearance of paper stuff and stickers and all this stuff. So yeah, bummer. I wish you were able to get it. But if anybody knows anybody who does that, they're good. So how you doing, Bill? Yes. So I'll show you one of the things that I bought. And I don't know how I'm going to use this thing. But look at this. This is crazy. This is just completely off subject here, but look what they had for $1. They had these spiral thingies you can make the journals. Binding wires is what they are. And this was $1, which is crazy, you know. Yep, $1. And you get 30 of these little spiral thingies in there. Yeah, so to make journals, but of course you need the little. I used to have this thing too, which is killing me. I had one of these, and I can't remember how I acquired it, but it was very interesting. And but it's this We Are Makers. That's it. They changed the name, but anyway, they gave you that, and then they had some cards. Now these are already made, but this is 40 cards with the envelopes, and it was $1, which is crazy. And this was made by the same people. Oh, they call themselves American Crafts. That's who they are now. Yeah, crazy. And I said, how in the world? And I guess, I don't know if people aren't buying this stuff anymore. I don't know what's going on. But I just thought that was very interesting that they had this paper stuff. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you, Bill. Thanks for coming in. And oh, there's Lydia. Hey, Lydia. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm going to do one more of these, and I think I'm going to dip out. But yeah, but this is just the basic way to make plarn. I'm going to refold this because I'm making a mess. Let's try this again. All right, here we go. Make this a little bit nicer. But yeah, you just keep making it as thin as you want it or as thick as you want it. I sort of like the medium size, like that. Maybe even we'll cut that in half one more time. But this is how you do it. Then you just keep going, and you just cut them, and you get like between 5 and 6. I always do about 5. 3, 4, 5. Yep, here we go. And that's the basic way. And then last thing, we'll put these 5 together. We'll keep it going. And I'll add it on to the last piece here. This is the one that I had before. Yep. So you crisscross them. And that's it. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Great deals. Yes. All right. Well, have a good one, Bill. Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Katrina, Renee. Let's see. Sam, Lydia. And this, I'm just making the plarn. Yeah, and that's what this is. You just use plastic bags. They call it, like plastic yarn. Let's see. I'm going to go back through the chat real quick. But anyway, please stop by tomorrow, or at least watch the replay. I'm going to be doing my Motivation Monday. And like I said, we'd like to try to have everybody start the week off on a positive note. And you also make some plans, as to what you want to do this week. And my evil plan was to actually, like I said, I'm powering through some of these, projects. And I have a couple of bucket list items I'm trying to work on. So I'm trying to do a little bit of that. So I'm always doing that. And then maybe making some content. And that's, what I want to do. So I'm just going to, knocking this thing over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this other end here. Try to straighten that out a little bit. See if I get that in there. I think I may have pulled this too tight. But here we go. And you just pull it. And you make it nice and easy. So I'm just going to make this into a ball. And I'm just going to continue adding on. And that's what you do. And this does take a little bit of time. And so I just want to warn everybody, it does take a minute to make these balls of corn. But you see, it reasonably goes fast. They're quick enough anyway. But, you can just keep going. But anyway, there's a ball right there. That I finished. And I have a few bags left, and I'm going to keep going. But I'm going to, head out and do a little, exploring as I always do. But there's a ball. Yep. And let's see. And like I said, these are the handles. I'm gonna make a little smaller group of handles. But like I said, the nice thing is with this, and see, I did a little crocheting here, but I'm gonna take these out. But that's all you have to do, and you do either whatever stitch you want to do, and just make your. You could make a basket. So if you wanted to crochet in the round, you could just keep making a basket. There's all kinds of different things that you can make with this stuff. So it's kind of interesting. But one of the ladies in so I go to a crochet group, and one of the ladies in the crochet group showed me how to do this the first day, and because I had never done it before, and she so anyway, she's since passed, so this is kind of her legacy. But I'm going to take a picture of the purse that she made me a purse out of this, and it came out really nice. So I'll have to pull it out. It's in my closet. But I always try to like give her a shout out too. Her name was Julia, and she used to hook me up. And let's see, I'm gonna do this. Let me see what else. Anything else? But that's it. And but anyway, thank you guys so much for coming in. And like I said, I'm a hippie, so you want to try to get rid of these bags the best way you can. And as you see, they really pile up. I have about 5 or 6 more to work on, but that's what you do. You just keep working on the bag. So this is a good way to get rid of them. And then it's like anything else, you can store these. Whichever way you like to do it. And yeah, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? You just do that. But you see, this was what I made. Originally, this was like the last piece here that I made. And I'm going to just keep adding, and you just keep adding on as you. And when you have time, you can do this in front of the TV, and do stuff like that. And these are more of the handles, up here. Yep. And I just tie a little knot here, and then you can just, you can definitely just crochet through that. It's not too hard. All right now, but there it is. Okay. Well, thank you so much for the 12 likes. I appreciate it. So I'm in the lab. So like I said, I like to. Maybe this is why I don't finish a lot, because I sort of play around with some stuff too. So this is good. And this is just something that you could try. So let me know if you try it, and if you make anything, But I'll show you once I make the ball a little bit bigger. I'll start to really crochet with it. I haven't really played around with it too much. So that's the plan. Yeah. So that's it. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much to everybody who's come in. And let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Katrina's saying she has a lot of bags. Let me see if I can scroll up a little bit here. Just thank everybody for coming. I remember Nick, Lillian, Charlotte. Oh, did I miss anybody? Scott was here. And yeah. But that's pretty cool with the deals. I don't know why I cannot scroll right now. Oh, there it is. Yep. Bill Beckett was here. Suzanne was here. We got Katrina. Pedro, Shatika. Yep. And I think that's everybody. Yeah. And if I missed you, it's not a slight. But good morning, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Eat something well and go outside and have a little fun today if you can. Although it's looking pretty stormy here. And that's kind of the sad, and Renee's here. That's right. Very tragic. All right now. Yes, and have a good day. Enjoy your Sunday. And I'm going to say thank you to Drizzle wherever you are. So we'll play him out, and we'll say peace and blessings. right, now you are. Oh, okay. You are more than welcome. Thanks, Katrina. I appreciate it. And so have a great day. Peace and love, and I will see you tomorrow sometime. All right. Take care.